Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League from USA International Speedway. It's the Virtual Grip Network's 8th round coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 13. Since we are at USA Speedway, it seems only appropriate to quote former U.S. Secretary of State and surprisingly competitive sim racer Hillary Clinton, who famously said about the eSports she so loves, "It is often when night looks darkest, it is often before the fever breaks, that one senses the gathering momentum for change, when one feels the resurrection of the hope in the midst of despair and apathy." Tonight, as the schedule reaches the end of the first half of the season, for all but himself, Eric Stout is that dark of night, that unbroken fever, the bringer of despair and apathy that leaves all others impatient for their hopes to be resurrected. Wins by Bradley Steffen, Brian Bianchi, and Brandon Feeney feels like fool's gold swirling in the pan, while the man known as Teapot yells Eureka more often than Yosemite Sam lost in Fort Knox. With Stout having more than a race worth of points as cushion, his competitors will try and channel the spirit and optimism of former Vice President Kamala Harris by envisioning what can be unburdened by what has been. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way. From the state that gave us the hanging Chad, a warm Floridian hello and welcome on this Thursday night, February 27th, 2025. The institution, J.R. Shepard, joins yours truly, Bill Soupson, high up in the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our Words Eye View replay. Ryan Seneker, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, J.R., for guys without a lot of talent like me, we kind of like USA because we get to go straight a lot, and I'm better at going straight than turning. How are these guys going to race tonight?
Well, Soup, like you said, we're at USA International Speedway. This is a larger short track for these drivers. This place, it's 3/4 of a mile in length with the turns banked around 14 degrees. And this place, Soup, it's very super line sensitive. The bottom of the track is the preferred line around here. And if you get out of that groove just a little bit, it will present opportunity to your competition to overtake you, especially in these SK Modifieds. You have to remember these cars are momentum race cars, so the smallest mistake in the corners will cost you all the way down those long straightaways that you talked about. And Soup, I expect to see a lot of action here tonight and probably even see some contact coming from those drivers who get stuck in that outside line.
Being stuck on the outside line, never a good thing to be here at USA. You know, what is a good thing to do, though, is take a look at the points. With no drivers making season debut at Watkins Glen, our only road course on the schedule, the number of drivers who have raced at least once, that's going to hold at 28. Now, remember, this rule package allows drivers to drop their single worst results, so the graphic reflects the driver's best 6 out of 7 outcomes, with the worst result being saved in that driver's pocket. Thanks to pocket points, all but 6 of the 28 drivers have avoided needing to take a 0 in their total counted. You know, it took Eric Stout 4 weeks to get to the top of the points ladder, and he stayed there ever since. Bradley Steffen has a pair of seconds to go along with the win. He's keeping Stout honest. Jeff Aho. Well, he's tamed those demons that plagued him early on in the season. He's on a bit of a roll now as he starts to climb up the ladder. After a disappointing 12th to open the season, talk about momentum. Childer Harris, he's averaged a 6th place finish in everything since. Rex Hoyle, well, he is all top 10 finishes this week, and you know what, this season, and he's also the best driver as far as history goes here at USA. It's the Allen family sharing 6th place, Father Kenny and son Luke. A little farther down, a 10th at Watkins Glen dropped Brian playing down a spot there. Nobody has collected more incident points this season than Fred Leclerc, and rounding out the graphic there, it's Brandon Feeney. He has a win, though, but everything else has been double digits. There's a look at the points. It's all about change and momentum. Of late, it has all been Teapot, Eric Stout. He's got 3 wins in a row, 4 out of the last 5. But, JR, the season is long, 16. We're only reaching the halfway point tonight, finishing up the first half. Things can go south quickly in sim racing.
They absolutely can. It does not take much to start to lose points. And the bad thing is, once you lose momentum, once that is gone from your side, it is very difficult to get it back. So in a 16 race season, you have to make every point count.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the race details. Jehar, how far are we going? What's the story here?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be going 100 laps around USA tonight, and as always, the leader has lane choice, but we do not take off on the initial start or on restarts until that green flag comes out, so that can leave the leader a little bit vulnerable at times. We do have an extra set of tires that might come into play tonight. We'll have to see. No fast repairs here, and we do get 3 green-white checkers around this place, so there could be a lot of action like we've seen in this league earlier in the season as we get at the end of the race here.
Usually that 100 laps equates out to about 50 miles. We do a lot of racing on half-mile courses, sometimes even a little bit less. Tonight, though, you can do the math. 3/4 of a mile. We're going 75 miles around here. A little longer. Hopefully the pace laps, if we have caution flags, will be a little longer. We get a better chance to talk to some of the drivers. They start to grid up right now. We're waiting to get the official let's go rolling here. Waiting for iRacing to give the okay. And there we go. And there's a look at our grid right now. And apparently I've frozen up here, so I'll just call it off here. Eric Stout and Brian Bianchi go 1-2.
Yeah, rolling off in row 2. Third place got Ken Allen. Alongside him is Jeff Aho.
Then you have AJ Hamill and Rex Hoyle behind them.
Yeah, rolling off in row 4. We got 7th place Chad Alcaraz and 8th place Josh Buckley.
There you go. I'm having a little bit of issues here. Take the next row for me there, JR.
Absolutely. Got row 9 here. We got Bradley Staffen, and we have Low Jewel rolling off in 10th place.
Okay, and then we go to the next spot. I'm going to let you take the rest of this while I get my gremlins sorted out here.
Yeah, no problem, Super. Hey, Chris Oliver, he'll roll off in 11th place tonight. Alongside him in 12th will be Luke Logan Allen. Got row 7, Brandon Feeney. He's got a win this season in the 38 car. Alongside him in 14th will be Fred Leclerc. Rolling off in row 8, got Brian Neff in the 60. And the 83 car alongside him, Andrew Massey. Next row, we got Rob Higgins and Aiden Alvecchion. Row 10, we got Chris Hazlip and Bruce Pearson. Rolling off in row 11, 21st place, Alan Wanamaker and Bob Higgins rolls off in 22nd.
And there you have it, 22 drivers here tonight. Glad you were with us here at USA Speedway. Round number 8. This one and then 8 more afterwards. Looking at Eric Stout, he's been on the pole the last 4 races. He's really got it going here. Chug-a-lug, makes you want to holler hidey-ho, and it is indeed Stout leaving the Stampede down into the first corner.
Yeah, and he definitely got a really good restart, and that allowed Bianchi to be able to get down. That is hard to do when you're in that outside lane, but he's going to be able to take over 2nd place. Right now, Jeff Aho, he's stuck in that outside line.
Clean so far. As they complete lap number 1, you can see still Stout, Bianchi, and Allen. Wanamaker picks up a spot a little bit farther down.
Now we got one around, Soup. 17 going around on the backstretch.
We're going to get that sorted out, and we're going to bring out our first caution as Chad Alcaraz. Nobody has picked up more incidence points than Chad this season, and there's another few of them there. That looks like a self-spin there.
Yeah, and you know, these modifieds are like this in general, but especially at a place like USA, when you have the cold tires, they are very, very easy to spin around on corner X as you start to accelerate, and that really looks like what he had there. Also, he's kind of keeping it on the inside of Rex Hoyle, who's looking to his outside, but the tires are very, very slick when they were cold around here.
So we pick up our first caution flag. Stout remains up on top, Bianchi in 2nd, Allen behind him. Keep an eye on Jeff Aho. He's starting to work his way up through the field. Do we have an opportunity? Director, who can we talk to there? Can you pull somebody in? We can give ahead, see who you're able to pull in. We'll give them a quick talk to. Let's go ahead and talk to the man up front. Okay. Eric, how's it feeling out there?
I don't quite know yet. The first lap's a little sketchy while the tires are building heat, but obviously happy to be out front and just looking to collect, a solid finish. Hoping to have another strong night.
Keep the momentum going. Any worries about tires? We're going an extra 25 miles. The track is longer.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, during practice, about like 35 laps into a run, like the car could get a little unstable on entry and through center, and the right rear, I think if you're not careful, you can use that up. So I'm going to try to set, I think, I don't want to call it modest, but I'm going to try to set a nice race pace and not go crazy here, and just try to preserve that right rear a little bit.
All right, good luck to you.
Thanks, Soup.
Certainly is on a roll, and he seems like he wants to keep that going as he's circling his way around the track. He's got 14 of Brian Bianchi. Bianchi has a win this season.
Yeah, he does, and he was fast in practice, so I was actually a little bit surprised that Eric got the pole here, because watching Brian's lap times, they were super solid, particularly as he gets into the run, which is something that Eric touched on a little bit there. The tires start to fall off, so I think Bianchi may be one of those drivers that comes on later in the run.
This is the 7th time that the Red Light Racing League has brought the SK Modifieds to USA. None of the drivers here tonight have a win, but if you're looking for a driver that has seen success, Russ Hoyle, he's tried it. He's never missed a race here at USA. He's got himself 5, get this, top 5, so he knows how to get it done. Pace car is in. We're going to be going green here, working lap number 7. Look at the outside line. Nice run there from the 14, Bianchi.
Yeah, and what I saw there is that Jeff Aho actually gave him a really solid push down the front stretch, and that kind of pushed him out. But what it did is it really hurt Bianchi, in my opinion, because it's going to allow Ken Allen to get to the inside of him, so he's going to have to work hard to try to hold him off.
Allen now to the inside of Bianchi. Bianchi is stuck out there.
Yeah, and Soup, this is a time where when you're Bianchi, you don't want to give up track position, but I think it's better to conserve your tires than it is to really fight hard. If you're on that outside, you're going to use more tire anyway. He's able to get down now, but I do believe that it's going to be better to save those tires.
AJ Hamill got into 3rd position right before the caution flew. We'll see who's brought this one out. Oh, might be former winner Feeney brought this out. Brandon Feeney. Let's take a look at it.
Oh yeah, Soup. He touched the apron, and it's a death sentence in these cars if you do that. This Team 53 setup is extremely good. It's got a nice free filling through the corners. It's definitely loose, but it's very good at producing speed. But if you touch that apron any at all, the car will come around extremely quick, and that's what we saw there with Feeney.
A couple of the drivers collected in that incident, including the 93 of Chris Hazlip. Hazlip, a BRLer who is really hasn't been racing up front. We see him coming into the pit lane. His claim to fame this season was nobody has turned more laps than the Lipper. There's also another, well, kind of a double duty gear. That's Alan Wanamaker in the 9-ball. Of course, Wanamaker probably more notorious or noted for his work with the at least with the yesteryear racing. Yes, thank you, director. You know, if only Ryan Seneker could stay in my head the entire day, I would have a much better time. He says I don't want that. All right. Kid Lemon Lime, we like to call Luke Logan Allen. Well, his dad in the number 81 is out there racing in 2nd right now. Kenny had a great run at the road course, came home 2nd. There's Lipper. And the 17 of Chad on cars. It's a little farther back, some more damage there to former winner Feeney.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Soup. Yeah, I'm looking through the running order here, just trying to see where some drivers are. And one thing I'll point out is, I keep my eye on the 22 car kind of as a sleeper in this race, Bruce Pearson, because he is known in other divisions, other series, of being a driver that takes care of his stuff and shows up at the end of the race. I think this is going to develop into that type of race where you really got to take care of that tire and be there at the end.
There's a good shot at Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. Good to see him out there. Bruce running a little farther down the order right now, but still plenty of time to get there. All right, they're doubling up. We're going to be going green this time around. Glad you were with us here tonight. Beautiful night here in Florida to go racing. Shirt sleeve weather out here. And we get a run down into the first corner. Eric Stout continues to lead. All right, Kenny Allen stuck on the outside. It didn't work very well last time for Bianchi. Let's see how it works for...
Big wreck.
Oh, no, big wreck up front. And it involves, did it involve the leader? Yes, it did.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get another look at it. But obviously, it started up front. I see several drivers were involved. I don't see any race-ending damage, but I do believe some of these drivers, because we do not have a fast repair, are going to have a long night ahead on probably some right front damage occurring. But we'll get the replay here. We see Eric Stout out front as he was taking the green flag.
Come along, and that's the 18 of Kenny Allen to the outside. Everything looks good here. They're almost three wide, and I think Stout got a little worried in the middle.
Yeah, that's just that's just one of those racing incidents. Is just the coming together, like you said. The three wide action happened. I think Stout was trying to provide some room, and in return, just kind of moved up too far. But we saw several drivers involved in that. But again, I'm not seeing anything that would end someone's race at this point.
Long yellow flags here. Director, can you see if you can dial up on the phone? Let's say hello to Jeff Aho if we can. See how he's doing. Jeff is Soup up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Did you get any piece of that one happened right in front of you?
Yeah, I sure got a piece of Brian's lovely number 14 car.
Can you tell how you're feeling?
I think it's fine. I think I hit him square. Not on purpose, obviously, but I think I hit him square. I think I'm all right.
All right, man. We'll keep an eye on you. Good luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff Aho, defending champ, had a horrible beginning to the season. He's really got it rolling now. Worked himself way up in the points, sitting third in his number 21.
Yeah, and you never want to wish bad luck on anybody, but obviously when you're somebody as good as Jeff Aho and you've had the seasons that you've had, you're the defending champion, it doesn't hurt to see you have a little bit of issues, I think, as a fan at the beginning of the season. It makes it super exciting to see that charge, and he's definitely done that the last several weeks.
All right, JR, I'm going to ask you a question you've probably never been asked before, so let's see how you do on this one. You've got yourself several championships. What's going to make a drive to the championship easier for you? A drop race or a rules package that has fast repairs? If you had one to choose, what would you prefer?
I would prefer the drop week myself. Fast repairs come into play, but at some point you're going to have some bad races that are just out of your control that don't involve getting a fast repair. So I always enjoy that drop week.
We have two former champions in our race today. Eric Stout from Season 10, and then Season 12 champ, of course, Jeff Aho, the reigning and defending champ. All right, we're going to be going green again, working lap number 18. We'll get to 100 eventually. Here we go. We got ourselves a new leader this time. It is AJ.
Yeah, you got the two teammates racing each other into turn one there, but that's going to allow Ken Allen to get to the inside. He's going to look to steal that second place from Eric Stout.
Of course, Kenny Allen was stuck on the out. Oh, look at Stout is loose. Oh, my goodness. He saves it, but T-Bot is losing spot after spot after spot.
We continue to see some more contact there, but it was hard to see from the angle that we were at, but I believe Eric Stout was trying to hold Kenny Allen down a little bit going into that corner, knowing the outside does not work, and I think there was some slight contact that led to him getting loose there.
And, of course, Stout was just involved in the most recent incident, so while Jeff Aho said his car was fine, you don't know how the points leader car is going right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point because I talked about the right front damage some of these guys might have got from that accident we saw on the backstretch, and if you in fact have that, that completely changes the way that the car is going to drive through the corner here.
Oh, look at that shot. They are lined up. It looks like Pasadena on New Year's Day. A nice parade of single-file cars coming your way. Whoops! There's a float that's causing trouble. That's a little farther back. That's Chowder Cars. Remember how Cars was caught up in that incident earlier.
Yeah, definitely. He had a self-spin earlier, so I fully expect we got some green flag racing here that he'll continue to move forward. He's got the second best average finish this season out of everybody.
Higgins making a move on the inside. That's Leclerc. Gonna get that done. So move Rob up a spot. Fred goes down one.
Yeah, and the one thing that I saw there that's very important, Fred did a nice job, but if you're the car that's being overtaken, coming out of the corners, it's probably better to concede that position instead of trying to race side by side, because as that bottom car comes out of the corner, it naturally wants to push up. It's losing grip because it's more of on the flat surface, and it pushes up toward that outside wall, and it's sometimes out of that driver's control on the inside line, so best not to be side by side there.
Mostly single file. Looking at a battle there. Boy, I'll tell you, Kenny Allen, he's making AJ work out of Hamill. Takes a wide entry in, closes it down. Good run off of 2, though.
Yeah, he's definitely working him over here. He's learning what works and what doesn't work because he's got a little bit of a gap behind him, Ken Allen does. So he's able to kind of move around and try different things without having to worry about somebody getting underneath him. That may change as Brian Bianchi closes in on him here.
All right, JR, don't laugh at me, but does the draft play a factor in a long straight here like this, or it's not in these cars?
I wish. No, it really doesn't. I mean, it plays a small factor. You're looking at a mile-per-hour gain potentially if you're behind somebody at the right timing coming off the corner, but it's not a big deal at all.
Then also, I imagine that carries over the aero push as well. That's not a factor if you're following somebody, because the cars are not aerodynamically dependent.
Well, you know, out of all the cars, these cars are the least because of the kind of downforce they produce with the way the bodies are designed, and especially with the way they have the wide tires on them, so they produce a lot of grip. But if you continually run behind somebody for 20, 30 laps tucked right in, it does start to overheat your right front tire, so the handling of your car starts to go away slightly.
The man on the hunt there is Higgins. Rob trying to find a way around the cars in front of him. Seeing what he can do on Oliver. Chris keeping a nice steady line.
Yeah, and there's Chad Alcaraz. We talked about him. He was in that first self-spin accident, but he's continuing to move forward, and I expect this because we talked about him having a great average finish. But at the same time, I don't see him moving forward super fast, so I believe he's trying to be a little bit conservative but have something to work with at the end of this race. But you never know. If we get a weird caution, he may be one of those drivers that decides to tuck in and get some new tires.
Let's take a quick look at our point leader, number 12, Eric Stout. Whoa, that's a good battle. I hate to do. Now look at Stout. Look at the gap between him and Stefan. You almost wonder if maybe the car. We saw him get loose before. Maybe he's just trying to figure out how to race, or maybe there's damage, or whatever it is. It's not the T-Pop we've come to know. In fact, look at this. That is Chad Oliver going to try to make a move on him. That's like seeing Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Loch Ness Monster. You just don't see that very often.
It's not something that we're used to seeing this season at all, and it's a huge opportunity for those other drivers out there that are trying to chase Eric in the standings, and we see him get loose there again, so he's definitely struggling with that handling, probably has some type of damage, but it's a huge opportunity tonight for those other drivers.
Did a little research. I like to call them pocket points. It's a driver's worst result. He's got 32 points in his pocket, so even if he were to have a disastrous result tonight, it's not horrible. 32 is not a horrible run, but man, you can tell, the Teapot not feeling it tonight.
Yeah, I was hoping that once he lost that lead, or that lead group up there, that more than anything he was trying to be conservative and take care of his tires. But I just don't think that that's the case anymore. He's definitely got some damage, and he does have that drop week to fall back on. But again, if you're the competition and you need to capitalize on every weakness of a guy like Eric, and tonight's one of the nights to try to do that.
We saw another move there from Channel Cars. Remember, he had that self-spin earlier, and now he's starting to pick up spots. He's worked his way up to the bottom third of the tower now as he starts to climb up.
Yeah, if you look up front here, you see Ken Allen. He's fallen back a little bit from our leader, AJ Hamill, and the driver that's moving forward is Jeff Aho, because it wasn't that long ago that he restarted in 7th place, and he's already moved up to 3rd, and he seems to have plenty of speed.
We've had 7 races so far, and 4 of them have been won by Stout. All the other drivers who have won all have B's in their first name. Brandon Feeney and another one there for Bradley Steffen has a win. I guess that bodes well for guys like Bruce Pearson and all the guys that have a B. Brian Neff needs a win. Haven't heard much from Neff.
Yeah, he's definitely not having a great night at all. He's 17 laps down at the moment, so obviously got caught up in one of those accidents earlier. But yeah, definitely a lot of these drivers. We look up front again, we see Jeff Aho. He is going to take that 2nd place position away from Ken Allen, and now he's going to try to go work over AJ Hamill and close back in on him.
So Ken gives up the spot. And of course, our other winner earlier this season is Brian Bianchi.
Yeah, and Bianchi had some misfortune restarting on the outside a couple of times there, so he's fallen back into 5th place, but I fully expect to see him start to move forward. We're only on lap 40 right now. There is a lot of racing left, but I think he's got the pace at the end of a run to be able to chase those leaders down.
Put the camera quickly on car number 271. That's right, it has 3 digits. I do not approve of that. That is Aiden Alvecchion. He's making his 100th start tonight in a Red Light Racing SK Modified. The 10th driver to reach that milestone. I'm telling you, if he loses one of those digits, that car will be a 10th faster. Nice side-by-side battle there. That's Bruce Pearson stuck on the outside. Alcaraz picking up more spots.
Yeah, Chad's continuing to move forward. I've been kind of watching this battle a little bit off and on, and Bruce does not want to lose this spot. He's been battling hard. I'm afraid it's going to start to abuse his tires. He's one of the drivers, I believe, that knows how to take care of the equipment, but we talked about it earlier. You get stuck in that outside line for a long period of time, it starts to overheat those front tires, and then your car just has a very bad push in it, especially on corner entry.
Let's ride on board with Granny Hits. Josh Buckley, he's right behind him. He's got a great view of that. We call it the popcorn position. There you go. Oh, I apologize. It wasn't Buckley that was following him. Let's go. Who was behind that Feeney? My apologies there, Director. Well, they get it sorted out. See, that's why commentators should stay in their lane. More side-by-side.
Yeah, and this is the part of the race. You know, we had a couple of early cautions, but now we've gone about 30 laps of green flag racing. This is where you start to see that transition between the drivers who've kind of taken care of their tires and those that have started to abuse them. So those that have started to abuse them are having a handful. I know you can't really tell it on the screen, but they are having to work the wheel in order to keep the rear end underneath these cars, especially through the center of the corner and corner exit. And that's what opens up opportunities for the drivers who've taken care of their tires to make that pass on corner exit.
Rob Higgins in that yellow car was able to make the outside line work as he pulled in front of Fred Leclerc. Well, our contract calls for us to put the camera on the guys who are running up front every so often, and it's AJ Hamill and Jeff Aho running 1-2.
Yeah, and AJ's coming off a great run of finishes here, and he even had that good run at Watkins Glen, a place that he did not even want to go to. Right. So He has that good run coming into this race, and he's carrying that momentum. He was able to get the lead, and he's been able to hold Jeff Aho off. I expected Aho to be able to close in, but there's still about a half-second gap right now.
You can see our points leader, Eric Stout, well down the order, still on the lead lap. Hanging in there, last car on the lead lap back there is Higgins.